Shalom to the brothers and sisters that most likely might be watching this later on. Shalom to the brothers and sisters that is hopping on this live. Shalom, shalom. Time is up. Uh, First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders, a great millstone who rule well, teach well through the Spirit, Lord willing, that they continue to endure and be sincere. And the mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit that y'all all in the same spirit endure and be sincere. Scattered four corners of the earth. Shalom to the Akwat Yum, believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving, silent, and virtuous wife. Lord willing, the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in this faith. Right? I wanted to go into Yahweh Shai and the apostles. That was my first thought, but after hearing it and hearing Daniel the 7th chapter again, it just hit me and had me excited for that moment. Leaving work, and I just still been meditating on it, just a little bit in this time. If you haven't read Daniel the 7th chapter, definitely read it. I did a lesson on it like years, probably a year, maybe 2 years ago. I might have to retouch up on it and do the whole chapter again, Lord willing, if the Lord allows me to, right? But I really want to deal with the end of this dream that Daniel had dealing with the fourth beast. And uh, just to sum it up, of course, the four beasts are kingdoms, right, residing under kings. But of course, these kingdoms had multiple kings within its reign, and the kingdoms was the Babylonians, ancient Babylon, the Persian Medes, the Greeks, and Rome. And part of the fourth beast rose a little horn. We're not going to read that. Maybe that might be for another video. But verse 8, when it says, and there came up among them another little horn, right? That little horn is America, right? Through the prophecy, right? And when you look up the understanding of the word horn, it means a king or kingdom or power. And part of this kingdom, when we go back into Daniel the 7th chapter, it calls them four beasts. So the fourth kingdom is a beast. So the meaning of beast is a political power, a kingdom, nation, and a superpower. And a horn is a king, a kingdom, and a power. So when you really look at, especially when you go into like the Greek and ancient Rome, when Rome actually became a high peak of its success and what it was supposed to fulfill and do, it was Edomites. In the beginning, when Rome was first moved and established, it was Japhites, because Rome is in the Japhite area. But eventually, Esau overtook Rome and the surrounding areas. So even up today, the people that really run Rome, Italy, would be Esau. So with Esau, he ruled 3 times in this prophetic time, or the prophetic moment of Daniel's dream, which was the Greeks, the Romans, in the Romans of today, which is really just Rome 2.0, right? That was wounded and came back. That's why the fourth beast is more diverse than any of the other beasts. So we're in the fourth beast in Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 7 to 8. But part of the fourth beast that we're in the little horn. We're in the little horn, right? So first, because I said on the title of this lesson, I said we're in the toes. So let me just read this part just to back that up, that we're in the toes, right? So this is Daniel, the 2nd chapter. I'm gonna start at 40. It says, "And the fourth beast shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise," right? And that goes into their military might, which Rome was known for that gladius, Lord willing I'm pronouncing it right. I think, yeah, Gladius, swords, right? I think you see the example in the movie 300. You got a TV show called Rome. They use it's like a small kind of sword because they use these big round shields, and it helps to get around and make a quick jab force, right? I think I seen a YouTube video on it. So this fourth kingdom is dealing with Rome, right? It's going to be strong as iron. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with my clay, and as the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. So the part that is clay, that's the weak part. The iron is the strong. So say if when we look at America would be iron because it's strong. Clay of these toes, we could look at Canada, right? But let's just show, because it said the kingdom shall be divided. It's another indication that we're in the end. Right? This is not, this is through the spirit you want to have joy, but through the spirit you want to be more serious, right? Seen a brother in Great Millstone on TikTok, and he was talking about how people, their main teaching, this one dude on TikTok, his main teaching is debunking Israelites. It's the same with Vocab Malone. They're not teaching anything about the gospel. The kingdom is just all about debunking us every day, Monday through Sunday, right? And right now we have to be more connected to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because now that the truth is coming out, these secrets is coming out, those that are truly of the faith, it's going to be things set up to test you, to tempt you, right? I'm gonna read this in Matthew, the 12th chapter, real quick. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. Wait. My phone was just acting crazy. Matthew 12, verse 25, it says, I just go to the point. Let me start at 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. If Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right? And it's really Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because you have one part clay and one part iron. They're against each other. That already is a sign to show you that we're in the end. because this is the fourth beast. What other prophecy you got of another kingdom, another beast? Daniel, the seventh chapter is only 4 beasts. Daniel, the second chapter, explains 4 beasts. Then, and why it's explaining the 4th beast is even giving you the toes, the feet and the toes. We're in the toes. We're in the feet. We're in the toes right now. So when you go to Daniel, the 7th chapter, when it goes into that little horn, that is leading to the toes, right? We're in what is it? The rebirth of Rome, you know? So when we see part iron and part clay and they're divided against each other, one is stronger than the other, right? Look how what America is doing with tariffs to their own allies. Canada is one of the founding people of NATO or the European Union. And there's other allies that the United States is going against, but it's really a round table. They all know, they're already lined up with each other on who got to do what, who got to, the order. You got to do this, I need you to do that and do this. But for us on the outside, it's like window shopping, like 50 Cent. We seeing it like, oh shit, damn, you see that? But it's really all a host, right? Because soon as this MOTB get pushed, they were all together. But when those allies of the United States break off and those, you know, those other nations that's against the United States, they're going to get mad at this place. So again, Daniel, the 2nd chapter, verse 41, it says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes were part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with marred clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, right? And it says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with marred clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay, right? So the iron and the clay is not going to mingle with each other, because truly when we see, they're going to be divided. Now, it was something that I just said earlier about you got people through the spirit, that Israelites and non-Israelites, that are mostly speaking about Israelites, trying to debunk this and all those things. You got some people leaving the faith, and now they saying they believe Yaju is the Hamashiach, or they're saying that they're the Hamashiach, or they leave, Esau or all nations first. These people say that Esau can be saved. They ain't saying nothing about no Chinaman. These are just going back into that example in Matthew 24. Soon as we rise up in the faith, in its truth, we get in this understanding, things are going to be targeting the elect, right? This is how we can see these signs that we're in the end, right? Let me see. They're going to deceive if it was possible. Here we go. This is Matthew, the 24th chapter. Let me just even read verse 22. It says, except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Hamashiach, or there, and believe it not. Now, days is getting shorter. We're already at Thursday. Camp is damn near 2 days, man. Right? But you got some people that's probably calling themselves another name, but they're calling themselves the anointed one. So it's still another example. Now, it's going to be some brothers, I'm telling you, that's going to really come and say that I am Yahushai, right? But it's people that's actually saying they're the anointed one, that they are the Hamashiach, right? That a super asshole is going to say that they're Yahushai. Somebody going to pop out the woodworks. But most like Yaju and this other dude on TikTok, this dude, what's his name? Jesus the Crip. It's multiple people saying that they are the Hamashiach, right? And people are going to say, oh, here's the Hamashiach, or there, believe it not, right? We're seeing a lot of that grow. Verse 24, which is the point, it says, for there shall arise false Hamashiach and false prophets, it shall show great signs and wonders, in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Like, I'm just speaking on something that happened like months ago. It's this dude named Shabar, right? I'm just using him as an example. This woman, her foot, I guess she broke her foot or whatever she did or whatever. She had a cast on her foot or ace bandage, and she couldn't move her foot. So this man was saying, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and trying to rebuke the pain and say he was, I heal you in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. The girl was gonna say, "Oh, I can feel my foot can move now. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's moving." I had shown the brother Yermayanas. This was a long time ago. That little example, even the church do, you know, somewhat healing, right? It's really just the left-hand side, right? The Lord didn't send y'all, let alone some people are doing it to gravitate to attention. Hey, look what I did, and putting it on the camera. A lot of these things naturally happen. Just like when Peter, coming to the temple, and the dude was asking for money. He said, "I don't got that, but in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, get up." And he got up. When we teaching this word, healing, spiritual power, we ain't doing it to be seen. We ain't doing it to make nobody believe. We doing it for those that do believe. Hold on, let me actually get that because I quoted it. All right, let's actually get it. Let's see if they was trying to seek attention. And these are the example. Being in this fourth beast, things are going to get worse. Not just even only the affliction, but look how people are going to tempt you with coming, either trying to come in the name of the Lord, which people are going to do, right? 1 Peter 4:17, right? Judgment is going to happen in the house of God. So some of the 2/3 is labeling themselves in this truth and saying the name of the Heavenly Father, right? I think it's this one. Oh, yep. This is Acts the 3rd chapter, verse 11. And as the lame man which was healed held Peter and John, all the people ran together unto them in the porch that is called Solomon's, greatly wondering. And when Peter saw it, he answered unto the people, "Ye men of Israel." Wait, let's go up. Let's start at verse 1. Let's start at verse 1. Right? It says, "Now Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour, and a certain man lame from his mother's womb was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple and asked in alms, and Peter fastened his eyes upon him with John, said, Look on us. And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. Then Peter said, Silver and gold have I none, but such as I give thee, in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua of Nazareth, rise up and walk. So he just said, in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai, rise and walk. Right? Let me see this again. So he's around the temple. Of course, people is coming and going in and out the temple, but he's not requesting to be seen like I've seen Shabar and many other people try to record just to be seen, just to show you, see, look what I did, right? Because they still give, when we look at the true men of the Lord, they still give the glory and the honor to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. When it comes to teaching, we can do nothing. Like when brothers flowing through the spirit, even if brothers is flowing through the spirit, the Lord had to been moving them to be reading, right? Reading chapters, hearing lessons, having a memory of certain precepts, so that when you do that lesson, when that spirit get on you, from the Lord putting it on you to study to show yourself approved, that whatever you say, the Lord is going to have you line it up with the scriptures because you've been connected. When I first got in this thing, I wasn't reading chapters. I wasn't really watching videos. So I couldn't really line precepts unless I hurried up and read something and hurried up and try to remember 5 or 15 precepts, and I'm going to only bring those out. But somebody being diligent, the Lord through the Spirit, doesn't how many times you read this book, whatever lesson you're doing, you might have precepts in your mind that you might already bring out. and the Lord might give you more. And you were already reading these verses before, you know, because don't think that you studying and reading is not benefiting. It actually is a lot, right? Just had to say that. Now, verse 7, it says, and he took him by the right hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and his ankle bones received strength. Um, and he leaping up stood and walking and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising God. And all the people saw him walking and praising God. All the people saw him praising God. All Peter had to just say, in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua, get up and walk. And he helped them get up. He didn't even make a big scene. Now, it's going to be people that are going to try possibly to deceive the very, very elect. So let's go back to that Matthew again and let's read it. In this fourth beast, this renewed kingdom, right? This healed kingdom, people are like the left-hand side is going to try its best to test and tempt the elect. Regardless if you don't know it, if you got spiritual eyes, all things is targeting you. Just like I did the lesson yesterday. This beast system is targeting the elect, right? When Paul was walking around and that lady that was consumed with a spirit, it knew Paul and them. But Paul, the spirit kept just giving praises and, oh man, the men of the Lord. Paul didn't want that. It's not our time to be exalted. So he rebuked the lady and rebuked that spirit and cast it out of her. And she came to her damn senses. Real men of the Lord want Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai to be exalted and honor on this side, right? Matthew 24, verse 24 again, it says, for there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. If it were possible, it's not going to be possible. It says, if it were possible, they shall deceive the they shall deceive the very elect. And look at all these uh, apps, channels that you can talk about the Lord, or you can try to debunk the Israelites, or you can come up with a new belief. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok is the main engine. Twitter, right? You got people that's having these podcasts on Twitch, and they're bringing out certain things. Look at how Jake, they have the image of the truth, and they get on a podcast and they might say, just to bring in more people, I'm gonna keep certain things uncensored. When I get on these platforms, I'm not going to say the name of the Lord. I'm not going to say anything about destruction too much. I'm not going to go too hard on Esau. It's brothers really doing that. It's brothers that even said that they was trying to keep it a little more PG just for the viewers, because they want to gravitate to people so that they can come in. And when they come in, then they start slicing and dicing. We can't be a trickster in this thing, you know. You have to be straight serious, because it's going to be people that are going to be against the elect on the left-hand side. That's why Ephesians 6 and 12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities in high places, right? The left-hand side is working just as well as the right-hand side of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So again, the elect don't only have problems with this fourth beast, this fourth kingdom. They even have a problem with other Israelites, the unrighteous, right? That's Sirach 33, verse 14. Good is set against evil. Sinners, the righteous is against the sinners, or the godly is against the sinners, right? This is a battle, regardless if you see it or if you don't, right? So we read Daniel 2 to show you we are in the toes. We are in the toes. And it said that they were divided. We read Matthew's to show if a kingdom be divided against itself, it shall not stand, right? And eventually, let's go to the real point of this whole live, right? Daniel, the 7th chapter, and I'm going down to 15. This is where Daniel, the interpretation of Daniel's dream, right? So it says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. And I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth, right? And um again, Babylon starting with Nebuchadnezzar, the Persian Medes, right? And you got books that's in the Bible like Esther, um, the time of Ezra, right? Even in the Maccabees, they speak about Doris and stuff. You got the Persian Medes, and then you can go even further. Like people say, oh, you can't trust the internet, but you're using a lot of things from Esau. The Lord did not just give us use Esau to make this technology and everything wrong. Everything is a lie. You as a student of the Lord, you have to have a discernment to decipher what is false and true, right? Just like if we watch TV, we know most of that is scripted and they not giving the news, but you can go on a YouTube or journalists, people that created their own news channel, and they're giving you stuff that they're not even putting on the TV. So you have to have a discernment to find this information, which history, the true history is being seen. The Vatican is not hiding all their history. They put it public. This is how Second Thessalonians, the second chapter of verse 3 and 4, this is how we know the man of sin or the son of perdition is being revealed. And it's because knowledge increased, right? So, again, the four beasts is Babylon, the Persian Medes, the Greeks, and Rome, right? And when you look at those, they go back into nations like Nebuchadnezzar. It was Babylon, Mesopotamia, and all of that. But Nebuchadnezzar stemmed from Assyria, right? Um, Even in the time of the Syrians, the Assyrians growing their power, which in the time of 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, where they overtook the northern kingdom and took them out the land, and then the northern kingdom came over here. The Syrians had an empire even right coming within the Babylonian empire, right? And the Persian Medes, which you see nations mixed in that too. But I believe it was Elam in there, Elam, and a descendant of Japhet, if I'm not mistaken. The elder was bringing it out. But then when you go into the Greeks, those were Edomites, Idumeans. Alexander the Great, or Alexander the Freaknik, he was an Idumean. Antiochus Epiphanes, all those rulers on that side were Edomites, right? Cleopatra, she was an Edomite, right? Ptolemy, an Edomite, right? When we go into Rome, the 12 Caesars, the 12 feathers, in 2nd Ezra, the 11th and 12th chapter, which is really dealing with Rome, where the Lord expounded a little deeper to Esdras about the fourth beast. If you don't know, go read 2nd Ezra, the 11th and 12th chapter. That goes in it, and he says in there, he expounded a little deeper to him than he did Daniel on the fourth beast. Just to back that up, because I'd rather God be true than let man be a liar. So let's actually prove that this is going into the fourth beast that was told to Daniel. So this is 2nd Ezra, the 12th chapter, starting at verse 10. And he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, but it was not expounded unto him as I declare it unto thee. So he's getting the same understanding of the vision that he's getting at his time about the fourth beast that Daniel was speaking about. But the Lord, he said, what did he say again? But it was not expounded unto him as I declare it unto thee. So the fourth beast wasn't expounded, explained to Daniel the same way it was to Esdras. It was more in a deep format. Now it was something else that it just said in that verse, but like the Apostle Gabar, let's fact check something real quick. Go to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Look at that. It said in verse 11 in 2nd Ezra, the 12th chapter, it says, the eagle whom thou sawest come out from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. When you go to Revelations, the 13th chapter, from verse 1 to 10, it is dealing with the beast of the sea. It says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Right? The 10 horns represents the NATO, the EU, the European Union. The 7 heads represents the 7 kings or governments of Esau: Rome, Greek, Britain, the French, the Spanish, Germany Major, and Germany Minor. Right? Verse 2, the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. The dragon goes back to Revelations 12, which is talking about Rome. It says, and I saw of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the great beast. So all the people are wondering at Rome. Rome was wounded and it healed, going into the time of the Borgia family, where we were calling that time the Renaissance. Renaissance, go look it up. It means rebirth. What is you rebirthing? If this is a new system. No, this is Rome all over again. America is established just like Rome, church and state, a Senate house with a council, right? The modern day Caesar is a president, but you have their foundation is way more extreme, where the elites are not even being seen. When you was in Rome, you knew who the Caesars was. And then you heard about the senates and the council. They walked up with a certain status. But of course, you always had secret societies within all these empires. Because even in the time of Rome, they had a certain system. Then when the Renaissance, in the time of the Borgia family, you even had Templars that was rising up, which were a financial treasury, right? So you already always had elites that had a behind that curtain presence instead of being in the limelight, right? This is why this beast is more diverse than any empire, because the ancient Roman Empire is established in this new empire, but even more advanced than it was back then, because even more technology, right? And even more when they first established America, they were really afflicting the Israelites. First the Northern Kingdom, and then they brought the Southern Kingdom, and then they started to bring all these other nations, Chinese helping on the railroads, all these other nations just to establish. But the children of Israel were getting afflicted, and it was just all the Lord putting that spirit on them, right? So we just seen it, 2nd Esdras 12, where Ezra's seen the vision of an eagle coming out to sea, and we just read in Revelation, the 13th chapter, of a beast raised up out of the sea. That is Rome. So we're just backing it up, and we just showed proof that Esdras was expounded in a more deeper fashion than Daniel was about this 4th beast. So Rome, ancient Rome, is the 4th beast, right? We're in modern day Rome, right? So going back to Daniel, but read 15 again. And I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body. In the visions of my head troubled me, and I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. So if anybody's, people saying Esau is not ruling the earth, it's Ishmael. So where in the Bible is the 5th beast? We see 4. The little horn, yes, we could say it's is part of this fourth beast. It's not saying it's a fifth. It's a fifth beast. Well, what is a horn? A king, a kingdom, or a power. That little horn is connected to the fourth beast. Daniel 7, verse 7 and 8. Right? And when we go, if we, Lord willing, we do go back to Revelations 13, it shows you that that same beast that's expounded, I mean, the same little horn that's expounded in Daniel 7, verse 8, is expounded in Revelations the 13th chapter, and it exercised the same miracles and powers as the first beast. Right? So when we go into the fourth beast, Daniel 7, 7 and 8, it tells you, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. It didn't say another beast. It said another little horn within the beast of the fourth beast, the fourth kingdom. And that little horn did not rise until the falling of Rome, after that 1,000-year period where they were in the bottomless pit, which we would say Europe, right? Where they were cave dwellers, right? And after that period, the Lord rose them up out of their dung, or out of their grave period. And then that's when eventually the establishment of the Renaissance, or the Vatican all over again, through Pope Alexander VI, right? And his son, the Borgia family, where they implemented that damn image, the JCAC picture, right? So Daniel 7:18, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Now, the only time where Israel fully had the kingdom is in the time of so-called Saul, just for that period. But having it in peace was truly after David. But we had the kingdom in the time of David and Solomon, which it was actually in order for peace for 40 years. After that, the kingdom started crumbling. But of course, we had good kings, but we wasn't as a whole kingdom. We were divided. Then the northern kingdom came over here. So we didn't have no kingdom. So what is this talking about? This is talking about after Rome is destroyed as a whole. So in this moment, he's jumping here, and the more we keep reading, it's like he's giving you the future, but then go back into before. Like right now, we in the time of the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. But then it's going to jump again and speak about the beast again. Because when the children of Israel get the kingdom, this beast is not rising again. So in the time of Rome, Israel was not a true kingdom, right? You had Herod ruling, and the southern and northern kingdom was in a whole. Ezekiel 37, he says that we're not going to vex one another. The southern and northern kingdom is not going to vex one another, and we're going to dwell amongst each other. In ancient Rome, we did not dwell with each other. Majority of the northern kingdom was here. So this is really going into a future prophecy event. So let me just give you a classic precept just to show where it says the saints of the Most High, which is really the Israelites, but the elect on this side, the faithful on this side, right? All Israel are not saints on this side. 2/3 are going to be destroyed, so they can't be the saints. But the Israelites are the saints of the earth, right? But the ones that's going to get that kingdom is the elect. So those are the true saints on the side. Shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. When has that happened? That haven't happened yet. So let's go into this. I'm trying to use, to make time short and on point, I'm going to use my phone and my physical Bible. So we can go to Psalms 149, verse 5 to 9. But I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh a new song, and praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. So this is not talking about the other nations, just for anybody that's debunking Hebrew Israelites or saying we bring in the true father. Half the stuff we about to read did not come to play yet. Our true king is when Yahweh Shai, when he comes back. What David say in Psalms 110, verse 1, right? Let's get that real quick too, and then we're going to go back to that. Even David knew about Yahweh Shai. This is Psalms 110, verse 1. Yahweh, or the Lord, said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion, which is Yahweh Shai. Rule thou in the midst of thy enemies. So the Lord said unto my Lord, right? So David is speaking about Yahweh, and he's saying Yahweh said to my Lord. Who was David Lord? David was speaking about Yahweh Shai, because even David was a prophet. He was prophesying. So back to Psalms 149, verse 2, let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. What is his name? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Let them sing praises unto him with the tambourine and harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. Now we can go in the scriptures. Who is his people? Right? Let me get this in Joel. I think it's Joel 2:27. It says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. Who is his people? The people the people that he is in the midst of, which is the Israelites. He said he is in the midst of Israel. 1 Chronicles 17:22. For thy people Israel didst thou make thy own people forever, and thou, Lord, becamest their power. Right? The Lord people is Israel. 2nd Esdras 5:27. And among all the multitudes of people thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest thou gavest a law that is approved of all. This is how we identify the Lord's people, because the Lord has given his people the law. All nations wasn't given the law. Oh, the other nations could come in this thing and they can keep the commandments. But we first hear the commandments in the law. So who was the law given to? Who truly was the commandments given to? The Israelites. 2nd Esdras, the 3rd chapter, verse 34 says the Lord's name is only found in Israel. Verse 35 to 36, it tells you that you can only find Israelites have kept the precepts of the Lord, not the heathen. When you look up the word precept, it means law. What sin really pertains to transgression of the law. So the true sinners of the earth is Israelites. Even though other nations is doing certain things, yes, they are sinning. But when it comes to who the law was given to, those are the ones that's really sinning, because the law was given to you to follow this way, do this and do that. Other nations wasn't brought up as a whole. Do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that, eat this, and don't eat that. As a nation, as a whole, only the Hebrew Israelites was given this law. So you have to throw away the other nations of bringing forth Yahweh Shai if he's fulfilling. When you say he fulfilled the law, he didn't fulfill all the law, but he definitely fulfilled certain things that pertain to him even more, the sacrificial law. Only Israelites gave a sacrifice unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. As a nation, only the Israelites had a high priest that would do an atonement for himself and all of Israel. Yahweh Shai is that example for him to be an atonement for his sins that he did in his past life as Solomon or in even Adam, right? And for all Israel. We can keep on going on that point, but I don't want to drown it too much. Let me get this one, Amos 3:2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Verse 1, he talks about you know what? Let me just go to that verse 1. Amos 3:1. Hear this word that Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying. So the Lord only brought up Israel out of Egypt. This is his people, Joel 2:27. He is in the midst of Israel, his people. So back to Psalms 149, Verse 4, for Yahweh will take a pleasure in his people, and he will beautify the meek with salvation. Going to Matthew, the 5th chapter, the humble, meek, the humble shall inherit the kingdom. So verse 5, it says, let the saints be joyful in glory, and let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and the two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance. When you go into the word vengeance, it can go into revenge or avenge upon the heathen. And right now, that's not now. This is going into the time the Lord is going to put this on us. That spirit of vengeance is going to be put upon us to do the Lord's will to the heathen. This have not happened. This did not happen in ancient Rome. You can't use Sakari because they was doing that on their own. You know, because when we see these prophecies in Daniel, it was meant for these things to happen, right? When you see the prophecy of the temple being destroyed, I mean, when you see it in the Maccabees, the temple being destroyed, it was back then before the temple was being dedicated. But now that it got defiled, the Lord put it on the Maccabees to cleanse, recapture the temple, recapture the temple, cleanse it, and rededicate it. Now we do feast of dedication. So that was supposed to be established, right, through the Spirit. So again, verse 7, it says to execute vengeance upon the heathen. When you go in the NLT, it says nations. Come on, man. And punishments upon the people, right? When you put Israel aside, all the other nations are heathens, starting with Esau. If you go in the NLT way, it says to execute vengeance on the nations, right? Punishments upon the peoples, to bid their kings, right, their high ones with chains, and their nobles with fetters and iron. This is how you know the low-level people of whatever nation dealing with Esau. You low-level Caucasian Edomites, you're not even on the level. The Lord wants the kings and the nobles, right? The kings and the leaders. That's what the nobles is. You low level, y'all. If you in America and Israel, wherever you at, you gonna be destroyed fully. But for the elites, the ones that had their hand in the cookie jars, the ones that was really afflicting Jake knowingly and Jake not knowing it, or Jake is knowing it, they're going to be the first crop of slavery. Right? It said right there to bid their kings with chains and their nobles, their leaders, with fetters and irons, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints, praise ye Yahweh. This did not happen yet. Right? So back to Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Right? To take something is like you get, like somebody got something and we about to go take this shit, man. Excuse my French, and I ain't speaking French. Somebody rob your house, I'm about to take this nigga TV. I see that man driving that Dodge Charger, I'm about to take his Dodge Charger. You taking it. I'm taking this off. I'm not going to even ask you. I'm taking it. And we're doing it by the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? I'll give you another one. I got a couple that can line with that, but let's just keep it neutral. It's Isaiah, the 60th chapter, in verse 12. I'm going to even start at 11. It says, therefore thy gate shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, right? In the NLT, it says the kings of the world will be led as captives in a victory procession. Come on. So the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. I'm going to read that whole verse in the NLT. It says, your gates will stay open day and night to receive the wealth of many lands. The kings of the world will be led as captives in a victory procession. So all you elite, right? You're going to be led as captives. right? Daniel, the 4th chapter, verse 17, the Lord said he ruleth in the kingdom of men. We're going to be God's men on the earth, ruling, right? With our wives as the princess. They're not going to be no queens, ain't no goddess, ain't no slut, ain't no bitch. No, these are going to be princesses. Your daughter, your wives, right? We're going to be ruling, man. And the king is going to be saying what he wants. We get right back in our right glory, man. Right? Really talking about the 144,000 and any other men on down, because men is going to be in their full stature because they're going to be men, right? So verse 12 in the KJV, it says, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. How can we get all nations? All nations is going to rule, and any nation that don't make sense. If you get in every so-called elect that is of Israel, the Edomites, and this and that, who's going to be the nations if they don't, if the nations will not serve thee, if the nations will not serve thee, shall perish, and those nations shall be utterly wasted. What nations is those if all nations can be of the kingdom and be the elect? That don't make no sense. It doesn't. Isaiah is really talking about Israelites that's going to be ruling in the nations. Outside of Israelites, you got Esau all the way down, but Esau gonna be destroyed after 1,000 years. The son of men, which are the other heathen, the other nations, they're going to be left, and they're going to be ruled over. So any one of those nations that don't come serving under Yahweh Shema Shai and the elect, they're going to be wasted away. Zechariah the 14th chapter shows you that if any nation do not come up, even the people of Egypt do not come up to that high mountain to worship the Lord and do the tabernacles, their rain is going to come upon them, drought, famine, and they're going to get hit. They're going to be smitten with the rod. That doesn't make sense. If we're going to all people from different nations and then they're going to afflict their nation, no, that don't make no sense. A lot of y'all really don't understand the Bible, but you just can't accept the reality. But it's okay. The Lord set that up because it's not made for everybody to get. So all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai for those that get it. Verse 13, it says, the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, the box together to beautify the place of the sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. That goes with Isaiah 49 verse 23. And they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Now again, when he's talking about Zion, when you go into 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, he hallowed one land, which is Zion. Zion was given to the children of Israel as a possession. All the other nations got their possession of land. So we can't say all nations is going to be able to possess this. Ham got cursed. That's why Canaan land got taken from him, right? We were supposed to fully take that, but the Lord left some of those people, when you go in Judges, to approve us. Judges, the 3rd chapter. But that land belonged to us. The Lord gave that to us. That's hallowed ground. That's holy land for the children of Israel. That's our possession. It was Cain at a point in time, but now we taking it. We run that. And all other nations got their possession too, right? The descendants of Japheth, all the descendants of Shem, they all got their own land, right? The descendants of Ham, they all got their own, their descendants got their own land. The Ethiopians, they got their land. Even some of the Ethiopians, they even took some of Mesopotamia. But you got Syrians, right? Each descendant out of Shem, Ham, and Japheth got their possession, and that was all by the Lord. So we can't bring other people to a land that wasn't their possession. That goes back to not making sense. So Daniel 7 and 19, it says, then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, Babylon, the Persian Medes, and the Greeks, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with his feet. And that goes into the Rome military might. That's why America is known for its military might. America is the only nation on the earth, and if I still haven't seen anybody put on the comment section, when I did do a video on show me any nation that has a military footprint more than the United States all over the whole world. And when we go further in this, Rome didn't rule the earth. They ruled the part of their landmass that was given to them, right? And I'll even show that too. So they didn't rule the whole earth. And I believe we're going to come across a verse where the fourth kingdom, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. Rome didn't rule the whole earth, right? They ruled all the red is what Rome truly ruled. Ancient Rome, they truly ruled that amount of land mass, right? That's a full fact. And look at America's military might. They're the only nation that have a military footprint in all countries. America is that little horn that is a part of the fourth beast, right? So verse 20, and that just goes back to Rome where it said, those teeth were iron and his nails of brass, which devour and break in pieces and stamp the residue of his feet. That military might. Look at America's might and go look at any other nation that has a footprint like the United States or better. Russia got more missiles than America, and they do not have more military footprint than the United States. America is the only one that go on foreign land, deal with other people business problems that's none of their businesses, right? It's because the world is given to them. They're the head, right? Verse 20, it says, in the 10 horns, which is going to NATO, the European Union, that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, that goes into when the little horn in Daniel 7 and 8 fought the 3 battles to make its so-called independence, the French, Spanish, and Britain war, right? So it says, before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellow. Wait, who is this talking about? Let's go up to Daniel 7 and 8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root, the Spanish, the Britain, and the French. And behold, in his horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. And his mouth speaking great things, and his mouth speaking great things. Verse 21, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellow. This is talking about America. And all his allies, he looked more stout than his fellows, right? It says, I beheld in the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, right? What happened? Even when America got established, because the same, how they did this in the beginning, they're going to be even worse in the end. So the same power or ruler on this side, how they afflict us in the beginning, they're going to do it in the end. So let's go to Revelations, the 11th chapter. And we ain't going to read verse 8 because that's very plain. But let's go to the point. It's Revelations chapter 11. And I'm going to start at verse 9. It says, And they of the people, kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, 350 years, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, starting with Esau, because he's the ruler in these other nations, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. So in the time of when I'm gonna really just say David and Solomon, they were persecuted. That's why the Lord said he's gonna rebuild the tabernacles of David. This is where we had the nations subjected unto us. David subdued all these nations. That's how we rebuild the tabernacles of David. But through the Spirit, we do it by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the Lord physically is going to bring us back into that power where we're going to subdue all the nations. And all you ones that want to debunk Hebrew Israelites, give that sense. The Lord is going to rebuild the tabernacles of David. Y'all don't even understand that. The Israelites are going to be the head on the earth. Salvation is about being saved from your enemies. The other nations is not saved. They're preserved from those nukes. Whoever is preserved that don't get nuked and destroyed. And then when all things settle, we come back down, we're going to take the kingdom. And we're going to take all these other nations captive. So that's not salvation. So it's either you going to be in the spirit world and then wait your turn to come back, or when we come back down here, we just going to take you captive. So any one is a bad choice. Either coming back reborn as a kid. Yeah, mommy, who's those? Oh, those is the Israelites. Either you born in this thing or you going to be captured. So it's still a end result for y'all. So don't be thinking that that's salvation for the heathen because they get captured. Don't think that that's salvation because they get born in the kingdom. Right now, we're in Esau kingdom. So hell yeah, the heathen will be in the kingdom. But they're not going to have glorified bodies. They're not going to have immortality. They're not going to be like gods on the earth in Zechariah the 12th chapter. Right? So again, we tormented them. So since we're verse 8, their dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, we didn't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So we're dead in these streets. This is why they consume you with GMO foods, GMO media, GMO technology, GMO jobs, GMO weave, lace fronts. They got Eve walking around like Egyptians out here, man. You know? Because it's still some of us that is dead from the neck up. Right? This is how they're wearing out the saints. But now the Lord is waking up the elect. The elect is the Lord got his way. Verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. What's the example of them standing on their feet? The men of the Lord on the highways and byways, right? Go to the highways and byways, go to the highways and the hedges, and compel my people, good or bad. They're standing on the highways and byways. They doing these sit downs, man, teaching this word. It says, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So that shows you, if this truth is out, the elite is seeing the truth. Because when Jake is selling drugs and Jake is a stripper, a slut bucket, the elites is watching. They know what's going on. When you watch the movie Trading Places, man, the elite knew what was going on with that poor man Eddie Murphy. They, even outside of Eddie Murphy, they know what's going on. Why you think Esau has the top stock market in New York? They established that in New York. They set up DC in DC, which is the military might. They could have put it anywhere else. They set it up right there. Everything is calculated for a reason, right? The elite, Nathan Rothschild said he don't care who they put in office or the face of their empire or their kingdom. Whoever rules the money is the real ruler of that empire, right? So that shows that if they run the money, they're seeing where it's coming, where it's going. They see what they losing out. So they're watching. These elites is watching. And we just read in Psalms 149, we're going to get their kings and their nobles, their rulers. The kings and their leaders, they're observing the ones that is teaching his word. You women, y'all not in the forefront, so how they gonna really know that you playing your role? Now, when they see us married, they see the house in order, right? They're not watching every house, but when you see babies is coming together, brothers is being with their woman, yeah, they looking at that, but the spiritual thing is being seen, and that's the men of the Lord on the highways and byways and teaching, right? And I'm not gonna lie, from the elder apostle Tahar on down, it's in Great Millstone that's constantly feeding the sheep, all the way to the affiliates that's singing the same sound doctrine, you're being watched. And other ones that's of the same mind eventually repent, and then the Lord remove you around. You know what I'm saying? You're being seen too. This whole thing is being seen, from you wicked ass teachers to the righteous teachers. All of this is right on display, man. This is like we're right on a spiritual platter, and they're seeing it. And for the real truth, they're getting afflicted. Even the spirit that's in them, just like in the time of those kids, those young men that was casting out spirits, and they was saying we cast out the spirit in the name of Yahushua that Paul preaches. That spirit said, I know Yahushua, I know Paul, but who are you? Those left-hand spirits that's in Esau, they know who he is. They got a job. So if the spirit of the Lord on the left-hand side is in them, the spirit is having them watch us, man. Just like Revelations 54:16, the Lord said he create the smith and the waster. The Lord is putting the left-hand side spirit on them to make these devices. You don't think the Lord, the left-hand side spirit, is having them watch the men of the Lord? Hell yeah. Right? So Lord, one of y'all got that sense, man. Because that just edified me even more. This is Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 21. It says, I beheld in the same horn, which is talking about Daniel 7 and 8, which is America, made war with the saints, which we just showed in the beginning of their establishment, and prevailed against them, which they did, right? But when it comes to the end of this, they only prevailed against the 2/3. So if they didn't prevail against all Israel, they didn't prevail. But in the beginning, they did prevail, because all Israel as a whole, right? Just say I'm not of the elect. Hopefully I am. I had to wake up to this truth. I had to wake up. I had to hear somebody teaching it, or I had to come across reading something and ask somebody a question, or somebody had to point me to somebody. So that is the example to show you I was asleep. So I was afflicted. My mother, father, cousin, your mother, father, cousin, next door neighbor, they was afflicted. So that means that this is talking way before that truth came, right? In the time of 350 years. It says, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, right? Until the Ancient of Days came and the judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. We're getting in the time where the saints are going to possess the kingdom. Now, the Lord said the kingdom is within you. Through the Spirit, we have that. Right? This, with the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. You having a Rakak Wadash is the first installment of that kingdom, man. Let's actually get that. I'm going to get that in, I think that's Ephesians, the 1st chapter. But I believe it is in the Amplified. I want to get every detail. This is Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 14 in the Amplified. It says, the Spirit is the guarantee. Wait, the Spirit is the guarantee, the first installment, the pledge, a foretaste of our inheritance until the redemption of God's own purchase, possession, his believers, to the praise of his glory. I'll read in the KJV. It says, which is the earnest of our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession, unto the praise of his glory. So a part of our inheritance is not just only land, it's the Rakak Wadash, the glorified body, immortality, right? The heathen being our possession. That is our inheritance, right? When you are a firstborn, because you know Israel is the Lord's firstborn, just like Yahushua is the firstborn creation, he had an inheritance. So even the children of Israel from the elect, they're going to have an inheritance. Yahushua said we're going to be heirs in his glory. So he's going to allow us to have part in that inheritance, which is to rule over the nations. Everything Yahushua get, he's not being selfish. He's allowing us to have. Right? Let me get that in that Zechariah too, just to show you we going to be many gods on the earth. Right? The Lord has given us that. Philippians 3:21. Who's going to change our veiled body into his glorious body? Yahushua don't have to do that. He's going to allow us to have a taste of that. We're going to be abiding in the Lord the same way Yahushua is truly connected to the Father. This time we were just meant to know wickedness. In the kingdom, we're gonna be able to, that we know wickedness and righteousness, that we're never gonna do wickedness again. This is Zechariah the 12th chapter, verse 8. It says, "In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David." David was a mighty man, slicing and dicing. "In the house of David," which is the tabernacles of David, the elect on his side, "shall be as God, as the angel of Yahweh before them." Let's look up that word God, man. Be many most highs in this thing. Let's look at this. Zechariah 12:8. I'm going to get that word for God in there. Okay, as God. Elohim. It's going to say it wrong. It's saying Eloah. When you really pronounce it in Paleo Hebrew, it's Elohim. Elohim. And for the meaning of God, it's going to say rulers, judges, divine ones, angels, gods. Come on, man. We're going to be many most highs. We're going to be like Yahushua, man. Not saying we're going to be second. No, we're at the elect, starting with the elect men, the 144,000, the 12, and the rest of the 144,000, which I think is Isaiah the 9th chapter. We are the government. Again, I am not the elect. Hopefully I am. The elect are on the shoulders of Yahushua. So we're going to be the right hand of Yahushua, just like Yahushua is the right hand of the Heavenly Father. Right? So we're going to be like God on earth. And it says, as the angel of Yahweh before them. Right? We're going to be like David, and we're going to be like a God. Right? A ruler, judges, divine ones, and angels and gods. We're going to be all of those in one, man. You can't fathom this, man. That's not given to the other nations. It's not. What was we called in the time of Noah when that flood came? We were called the sons of God. It's three type of people on the earth. The sons of men, which are the other nations. The sons of the wicked, which is Esau, Malachi 1:4. And then the sons of God, which is the chosen bloodline that leads to the children of Israel, the Israelites. Abraham is a son of God. He's not an Israelite, but in this time he will be an Israelite because he's part of that bloodline. A lot of y'all can't even get that. To be chosen, you have to be chosen by blood. You have to be chosen by that promise. So it goes to Adam, which through the reincarnation is Yahushua. Right? Abraham, Lot, those were Hebrews, but they're part of that chosen bloodline. So we're going to be gods on the earth, man. That's amazing. So Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 22, because I'm showing you, it goes to this point, then it goes back to this point, then it goes to that point. So verse 22, again, it says, until the Ancient of Days come, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So this kingdom, this fourth beast, the toes have to fall. The stone in Daniel 2 has to come to knock it down. Revelation, the 19th chapter, where he has many crowns, right? He has to break down the kingdoms before him. It says, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread down and break it in pieces. No, and that's what makes it even more diverse. No other empire ruled the whole earth. Ancient Rome didn't rule the whole earth, but Rome did rule the whole earth, because this little horn is of Rome. Is of Rome. Even more when we go to Revelations, the 16th chapter. The three unclean spirit, like a frog, is the military might, which is DC, the financial system, London, in the religion part, which is the false prophet in Revelation 16, that is the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, man. We're in Rome all over again. This is just Rome 2.0. It's advanced because of the technology. We're really in the fourth beast. So don't let nobody tell you Esau not ruling, because that don't make sense if 2nd Esdras 6 and 9 says Esau is the end of the world. Isaiah 63, some brother going to use Isaiah 63 and say Isaiah 63 lines up with Revelations 19, where it says his robe dipped in wine. That was talking about Yahushua on the cross. No, the hell it wasn't. That's talking about when Yahushua come, it's going to be blood on his hands, right? Man. So again, this fourth beast, the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, shall devour the whole earth. It shall tread it down and break in pieces. This picture says a lot, right? America is everywhere on the earth. Their military might is everywhere on the earth. Shall devour the whole earth. Who pushes its laws and legislations all over the earth? Its currency all over the earth. Your problem, my problem, all over the earth. When you look at Project Paperclip, what did they do? Russia and the United States divided Nazi engineers to make these freaking waster devices, which are missiles, man. Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, right? The ones that's on, the elites on this side that's controlling the midst of those defiled frogs and the 10 horns, right? They were set up. The Lord set them up to be the head rulers on the earth. Russia can't do nothing. Russia is just the bear, just like in the ancient time, the bear, Persian Medes, overtook Babylon. Russia is the modern day example of that bear that's going to overtake Babylon, man. And that's all by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But he can't press the button because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai didn't put that spirit on him yet. Ezekiel 38. Let me get that real quick. Right? God is going to have that evil thought in their head. This is Ezekiel 38 verse 10. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought." And that evil thought, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to put in them. Right? Let's go to 1 Kings 22. So he's going to have an evil thought. So let's see what this angel did. Right? If Gog is going to have an evil thought, let's see. We got to know that this is the Lord. This is 1 Kings chapter 22, verse 19. And he said, "Hear thou therefore the word of Yahweh. I saw Yahweh sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on the right hand and on the left, and on his left. And Yahweh said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before Yahweh and said, I will persuade him. And Yahweh said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. So even when Esau prevailed against us, that was the spirit on the left-hand side was put on Esau to prevail against us in the beginning of this establishment of this empire that we got going on. And the same with this MOTB thing. So when Russia, when God has that evil thought in their mind, it's going to be an angel from the left-hand side of the Lord. Press the button. Press the button. People say, oh, y'all believe in that fairy tale. But you say God is real and he's watching everything we do. You believe in a freaking fairy tale too. You know? But yours is more delusional. When brothers talk about these powers and all, do you really think Esau making missiles for decoration? When Esau kills animals and hang them on the wall. Jake really was saying, brothers that's prophesying that nukes is going to drop. Man, you thinking of a fairy tale. Didn't bombs drop? No, brother, that never really happened. Niggas is really saying, what's it called? Hamishi, I'm always saying the word wrong. Hiroshima, when that bomb dropped, big boy, when that dropped down, people said that never even happened. That's a fairy tale. But they're testing bombs. We just see Pakistan, they're dropping missiles. Y'all really don't truly believe in Yahweh Shema Shah. He put a strong delusion in y'all, man. So again, the left-hand side angel is speaking evil, is going to speak evil in the ears of God. Speak evil in the elite to say, bring forth the MOTB. When that MOTB come, anybody that's watching this now, just mark your mind to know that the left-hand side angels is going to tell them to bring forth the MOTB. It's not happening yet. You know, I believe that they have the resources to already implement it, but it all has to be orchestrated by Yahweh Shem Yahushai first. Man. So back to Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 24, it says, "In the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings." Now you see they teeter-totter. Now he's going back to America again, which is going to, because that's the same in verse 23, that's going to devour the whole earth. This little horn is going to subdue the 3 kings, the French, the British, and the Spanish. It says, "And he shall speak great words," which Daniel 7 and 8, great things. Daniel 7 and Salaki. Daniel 7 and 20 shall speak great things. But verse 25, it says, "He shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hands until a time and times and dividing of times." Right? Even in Rome, they switch things around, but in this America, they change. They tell you in a year is 365 days in a year. They tell you it's 24 hours in a day. That is a lie. It's 12 hours in a day and 12 hours at night. When that sun is still down and you don't see the sun rising yet, it's still nighttime. 12 a.m. is really 12 p.m. It's really nighttime. 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, that sun not up, it's still 2 at night. When that sun come up, 7 o'clock a.m., it could be 6. That is day. That is the first crack of the day, the first hour of day. They changed all of this. They got 40,000 laws plus more in the United States, and they, pushing it throughout the world. But for the Israelites, your divine law was only 613, technically, right? Verse 26, it says, "But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. In the kingdom and dominion, in the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him." Right? Because we're going to already be connected to the Lord. We're going to already be obeying because we're going to be in full righteousness. All other nations is going to be under us by the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This is what we're leading to. So any Jake, you want your kingdom here, you niggas is done. You gotta have the mindset every day that this is falling. It's falling. And guess what? It's things working in the midst that you don't even see. I'm not in the government to know the ins and outs. I don't have the power to be like, oh, let me see what the least doing right now. I don't have that. But if the elect, the men of the Lord is constantly teaching and feeding the sheep, the wicked is constantly moving too. Revelations 12 and 12, because now that they're in the toes and they see their kingdom divided, this verse right here is for us. This is a revealing for us. Deuteronomy 29 verse 29. But the elites know what's going on. Revelations 12 and 12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. He's building it up with whatever devices he's trying to create, whatever system, right, law that he's trying to implement his system. Slowly but surely he's going to do it, and this is going to be his great wrath that's going to be upon us. And when that wrath come, when one step, the second step, the fourth, every step to that final step is all to put the wrath on us, because he know he has a short time. He wants to get as many as he can to fall, even though the 2/3 is going to already be in his hand. But Esau has an ending, and he's fulfilling prophecy, even if he knows it or if he don't. You know, Esau is fulfilling prophecy if he know or if he don't. Everything he doing right now is to bring forth that great wrath. Yes, it's going to be on all the earth. That MOTB, they're forcing their laws, that order, right? This new world order is going to be for the whole world. But in all, everything is surrounded around the children of Israel, directed towards the elect. What is it, Jeremiah 31? Where it talks about if the sun and the stars is no more, or if, you know, the heavens was searched out, like space, or beneath the earth was searched out, we wouldn't even be a factor anymore. Why is Esau searching those things? He's knowing something, right? But he ain't gonna never find it. The Lord just put it if he does, but he won't, right? That's why you need a glorified body to search past the firmament, to go deep down in there. But Esau has the mindset of doing anything just to try to see if he can. Esau don't want you to get the kingdom because that birthright, right? When you go to Judith, the 5th chapter, verse 20, it says, if these people sin, right, our God is not going to be for us, and this is going to be our ruin. So they overpowered us. But when we come back to our Lord, they saying, oh man, we're going to be a reproach. So why do you think they constantly is pushing sin and wickedness to make your children, to make your wife, to make you go off, brother? They gotta be, they're in the knowing of wickedness. They know who the children of the Lord is, right? Especially all nations knew this. Even the top dogs in every empire knew who the children of Israel was, because the fame of the Lord and the things that the children of Israel have done within their history span, the nations heard about. Why do you think Esau had the spirit on them to go look for a certain particular so-called African? They was looking for us, because that spirit was on them to identify those same historical people. Because this story is about us, because we're connected to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the spirit. Even you 2/3, you niggas is still connected to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, because you're part of the nation of Israel. That's why you 2/3 is going to get destroyed. But this whole, like, you know, when you watching a movie, I'm about to finish Daniel, but you know, when you watching a movie, the main character, you are the main character to the elect and to the 2/3. You finally got the role. You are a Denzel. You are a what's her name? A Jada Pickett. You are a Tiffany Haddish. You are a freaking Queen Latifah, without being, you know, a lesbian, right? You are the main character in this movie, man. It is revolved around you. But the ones that's gonna really get the gig is the elect. that's going to really get the benefit that the Lord is going to give us, man. All these people right here don't know, especially these Edomites I'm seeing, right? So-called Edomites. They're background characters, man. The top elites don't even give a damn about these Edomites. They gonna nuke these. They ain't gonna be able to make it out of Babylon. They gonna all be nuked. These foreign heathens that's coming here to keep shop. Chinese, Korean, these Agro, Ming Mang Pong, right? The Muslim, Muhammad, all of them, Muhammad. The Lord is putting it on their spirit to come here to be destroyed, man. Literally. I just seen multiple, who was it? I think it was Elder Yashawamba. Let me go check. The Lord is making plays. Let me go to Elder Yashawamba channel real quick, family. I think it's on his channel. If I'm not mistaken, I was just looking at it. Where is that? Where is it at, Elder Yashawamba? I know you got it. I know you got it in here. Dang. I might have to just go to his channel. I think it wasn't it him? So 2 hours, 11 hours ago, 2 days ago. Okay, maybe it was a different brother. I got so many brothers from Great Millstone. Man, I can't see it. It's a brother that was posting that in different places, 400, I think 40 airports are closed. 400 flights were canceled. Anyone going to India or anyone going to Pakistan, they were all canceled. Yeah, Salaki family, my bad. I guess I should have took a picture of him, man. I'm Salaki family, Salaki. That's definitely my fault. I should have definitely took a picture of those. I didn't know that I was gonna be speaking about them. Salaki family. Dang it, man. That would have been a good point just to show you. You know what? I probably can look it up. Flights canceled, airports closed. Yep, right here. 400 flights canceled today.
How airports along the border areas are also shut. In fact, around 27. How airports along the border areas are also shut. In fact, around 27 airports are closed. This has affected hundreds of flights. In fact, over 400 plus flights have been cancelled, and so passengers and those who are planning to travel must take a look at their, call up the airlines to find out about their flights. Let's go across to Tanushka now for more. And Tanushka, these airports will all remain closed till the 10th morning.
Talking about the 10th. Talking about the 10th day of May. 27 Indian airports closed. 430 flights canceled. Air traffic controller, nope, that's not it. Over 200 flights canceled. 18 airports temporarily closed. Each one I'm reading is in different in different countries. And I haven't seen or heard anybody talking about it on TV. And this is where, when you really want to find some information, you got to go dig for yourself, right? Jake is over here having a good time. Kids probably going to school, smiling, cheesing. Somebody about to play the game. You probably about to chill, relax, watch something on the TV. You might be going to work, right? And shit is really happening in the world. The elite is making moves, making plays. Terrorists is about to be making a motion, right? We gotta have the spirit and have the eyes to see this kingdom is not moving insufficient. It's not moving the way it's supposed to. Now, summer, so-called summer about to be here. Jake is gonna act a fool. Jake is that gun gonna get hot. Young niggas is gonna be young niggas. Women are about to be, it's gonna be a brothers, you know, brother, because you women shouldn't be looking at, but brothers, there's gonna be a lot of ass out here, right? Because these damn female rappers, that spirit is out on you know, the nigga woman, right? And they don't know things is really quacking. Jobs, people are getting laid off. You gotta don't have the mindset that, like, even if this kingdom, like Yaramayan said, and he always be saying this kingdom might last for another, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that it will. The signs are showing that this thing is this is over. We in the toes. But if this thing lasts another 5 years, you gotta still keep that fire. Shalom to the brother Yahweh Shemashai Brakatah, right? Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, man. Again, if this kingdom lasts another 10 years, you got to keep that same fire. If this kingdom lasts another 20 years, you got to keep that same fire. But you got to have the mindset that this kingdom about to end. We are in the toes, man. We are in the mother sucking toes. You know, everything is a target towards the elect. Anybody making a video again, debunking Hebrew Israelites, they were set up in the spirit to do that, man. And some of you weak Jake is going to cleave to it, right? Some women leaving, oh man, this truth, man, brothers be too harsh on the women. Or now I'm seeing it, man. I think not all Edomites is you know, it's evil or wicked. Hey, you might have some that is nice, but that don't mean a damn thing because they nice. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. If it's an Edomite, it's an Edomite. A duck is a duck. If one duck bites you and another duck wants you to pet it, it's still a mother sucking duck, right? The prophecies is going to be fulfilled. You can't be Captain Save-A-Hole to another nation, man. The Lord care about the Israelites, right? You niggas got spiritual boogers, man. Y'all niggas is too comfortable on this side, right? The brother dropped Mark 13:13. It says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Yeah, not the name Jesus, man. That name mean earth pig in the Latin, or earth dirt. His name, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's why you other congregations, I'm being real, you purple ranger mother suckers, right? You other camps that say the name of the Lord but then teach Jesus, you not in this thing, man. Because y'all trying to have favoritism. You trying to have respect the person. Oh, they don't know the name, so we gonna teach you. This is not for you, man. But some of y'all might get humble and then really stop saying that other name and really saying the name of the Lord. That verse is for those standing 10 toes down on this name, man. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Right? That enduring is enduring suffering. Right? Guess what? You're going to endure still working until they push this device, right? Or if the device come and you out of work, you still got to endure, man. That goes into 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, verse 13, right? The Lord is not going to put you in anything you can't handle. Some of us got that solid tissue or that tough skin. Some people don't, right? Like if some brothers get in the spirit world now or whatever, you know, the Lord just brought them in the spirit world. Maybe it wasn't in their lot to handle what's about to come. So they already good. They with the Lord right now. Right? Some of y'all that still on here, you got to toughen up. Right? First, what is it? Second Peter's chapter 1, verse 10. You got to work hard, right? To be those that God has called or chosen. You got to work hard for it, man. We talking about a crown. We talking about everlasting life. We talking about immortality. We talking about ruling the nations. You think that shit just gonna be given to you? Huh? Take it. No, you gotta work for that. Immortality. Think about it. Think about it. Go search what immortality is. Go look it up. Go read Zechariah 12:8 like I just did. Think about it. Being like David and being like a god or an angel on the earth. As a human, you can't even fathom that, man. Being all the men of the Lord, even you women and the children, we gonna be like mini Dr. Doolittle speaking to the animals. This shit right here ain't living, man. Right? The brother put 1 Timothy 5:6. It says, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth, man. Come on. For you women that's of this world, even you men. There's a lot of women and men that want this system to continue on going. You niggas is already dead. You niggas is already dead, man. And oh man, brother, why you calling them niggas? Guess what? If you not of this ministry or of this walk, you a nigga, man. A straight nigga. This is James 4:4. It says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is an enemy of God, man. Right? You want this thing to last, you a mother-sucking enemy of the Lord, and you don't even know it. Playing your game. Yeah, man, we about to kill all of them. And I'm telling you, it went, those jakes that's on TikTok and the ones that's in the world, man, why y'all brothers keep teaching about destruction in Babylon and America and y'all live here? Because it's going to happen. If you don't believe in it, you ain't going to teach it. That goes back to what I said earlier. When brothers go on these podcasts and say, I try to, keep it subtle because these people don't know the truth, so I don't try to give them the harsh part. To me, if you not teaching this and you trying to be a respected person, you don't believe in it, man. Right? Because you got to put the fear of God in people. That's real brotherly love, man. Bringing forth 100% truth. Giving the whole raw, no protection, no condom on. Giving them the whole raw truth. Like WWE, this is raw. We giving it to you raw over here, man. Starting with the elder apostles and the affiliates and like-minded men of this faith. Great millstone, man. They giving it to you raw. Raw. Like raw sugar that look brown. They giving you raw, man. You can't spare feelings or emotions. This thing is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen with or without you. This is Psalms 58, verse 3. The brother put Yaramayan. See, my brother name is Yaramayan. So, Yarama. I'm Salaki, brother. I'll just say Chazak. Salaki. I'm not a beast with Hebrew. Chazak. But I'm going to get it. I'm going to definitely get it. Chazak. Psalms 58 and 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Right? First, we're going to speak about Esau. Yaramya. I think I got it. Yaramya. Right? Khan. Okay, the water king. The water. First, because the borderline of wickedness is Esau. But then you 2/3, you are the example of your spiritual father. Esau, man. You are just like him, man. You are wicked as soon as you come out the damn womb, man. Speaking lies. Right? You brothers that set up to talk about debunking Hebrew Israelites. When have any one of y'all jakes that's trying to diss us, when have you debunked TD Snakes? The swallower, the power bomb. When have you debunked him? Right? When have you came at Jostein? When have you talked against all these other churches? I'm telling you, man, the Lord is setting the elect up right now and got these damn bug outs targeting the men of the Lord, man. For real. This whole thing is set up for the children of Israel, and everything that's not for this truth is going to be against the elect, because the elect on the earth is of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They come in the vibration of the Rakak Wadash. Everything was set up to be against you. Right? Let's get that in St. John, the 15th chapter. 15 and 18. It says, if the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. So if the world do hate us, that's how you know that you are of Hamashiach Yahushai. Because it hated him first. If Jake bumping up against this truth, no, brother, I asked Jake think he know all of this in the Bible. You go, what does Jeremiah 50 and 33 mean? Couldn't even explain it, and then say Babylon can be any place. It can't just only be America. Brothers can't even understand Revelations 11 and 8, but got the nerve to debunk Israelites on Deuteronomy 28. But then you start bringing up reincarnation. Oh, no, brother, that's not in the Bible. But they even thought that Yahweh could have been Elijah. Or they thought John, yo, no, you Elijah. Or you the Hamashiach. Why would they think that he's Elijah if Elijah been? Because they knew, they knew and they believed in reincarnation, regeneration. But Jake over here that think that they teach in this Bible that they know, but oh, the name don't matter. Whatever you call them is this. But when you try to get into the name is a doctrine. Nah, brother, you getting too deep, man. Well, I speak English. Y'all truly are not about this. But now with a spiritual eye, you know, the more you get connected to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you know, the left-hand side, 2/3, right? Even Esau and all these other nations, they're going to be against you. Ain't nobody your friend on this side. Your true friend is the ones of this ministry, which are your brothers, your sisters, and your mothers in this thing. That's Mark 3 and 35. Yahweh Shai said, whoever do the will of my Father is my brother, mother, and sister. That's your real family. I don't care how anybody feel. Until people come and doing the will of the Heavenly Father in the name of his Son, that's your family. If they're not doing that, they ain't family. They are just pedestrians or background characters, man. Right? Beautiful precept too, King. So going back to that Daniel, reading verse 27 again, and then, reading 27. It says, in the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. Right? And I just want to get this too, because I truly believe, this, and I believe Apostle Tahar, he spoke on this before. This is Psalms 119, verse 99 and 100. It says, I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the ancients, because I keep thy precepts. And in this time, if you are of the 100% truth, we know more than the ancient prophets. You know more than Samuel. You know more than Jeremiah. You know more than Elijah. You know more than Ezekiel. You know more than Isaiah and Jeremiah. You know more than them, right? Because Romans 15:4, these scriptures was written for our learning, for us. We got the whole volume of the book. We got the whole volume, right? The King James 6:11, we got the whole volume. And the prophecies that pertains to our time, we fully understand them. In that time, they was looking at missiles as arrows. We see missiles for what they are. We fully know who the little horn in Daniel the 7th and 8th chapter. We know it by its new name, America. They used to say USA, but they took it out. I forgot, a brother was getting into it. Now it's just called US. The United States of America. It's not America no more. This is an enterprise. This is a company. This is a business. I mean, it always was a business. Right? We know more than the ancients, man. That's not oh, you being proud. No, the scriptures say it. We know, I know more than the ancients, man. Daniel couldn't even fully gravitate and understand the fourth beast. He seen it, he was troubled. He seen it in the vision. Way after him, in the time of Yahweh, they lived that kingdom of the fourth beast. And now, way after, we're living in the time of the little horn. So yes, we know more than the ancient prophets, because we're living in it, man. John the Revelator, he seen a mark, M-A-R-K in the Greek, charagma. He's seen people physically taking this RFID device, man. This mechanism to buy and sell in the hand of the four. He's seen it. We're able to go back into the language of Greek to know, oh, this is a physical device, and be able to open up our damn eyes, see your phone, see your TV, see your car. I'm pointing at the TV on the damn on the car that got these chip devices in it. And brothers want to say, no, it's spiritual, it's sin. It's not gonna, you really think they're gonna make some device? They can't make that. And China over here got doctor robots already. Elon Musk got a car that don't got no steering wheel and it drive you wherever you gotta go. And brothers don't believe in a freaking device that can go in you. But we got pacemakers. You got Elon Musk getting approved from the FDA of the Neuralink. A lot of y'all was set up to play the role to say that it's not real, so that somebody that is in a delusion state, a man or a woman, is gonna say, yeah, it's not physical. Your brother put Matthew 13:21. It says, yet have he not root in himself, but dureth for a moment. For when tribulation and persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. Hey, and that's how a lot of, as an example, when me and my brothers, under Yarma, I'm saying Yarmayan because the other brother was gone. We started following Great Millstone because Yarmayan was saying that they really teaching 100% truth. When we started to get in this thing and understand that they was teaching the truth, other brothers through the spirit was getting offended, right, of certain understanding, which is actually real. And they starting to look, people talking about them, I don't want to be talked about, right? People want to be comfortable in this thing, right? And then even more, when things really get tough on this side, right? You got brothers leaving the truth because now they want a girl. Then they get a girl, I got to get my household in order. And you're not even with her yet. Then when the dude get a girl, he's still working. Oh, I got to get things in order. And every day that person is only just working and going home. So what is you doing to get things in order? And all you doing is working, going home, making food. So shit ain't really changed. So you telling me you can't apply yourself to what the Lord wants you to do? Niggas is making excuses because they're offended, man. They're offended. They are offended of this faith. One, they felt like they was either the smartest in this thing. And guess what? The Lord don't give a damn how smart you is, because he makes the dumb eloquent. And we only eloquent by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That spring and that fountain and that stream of water. Right? I failed a lot of grades in school, so I ain't nothing. But because of this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the Lord is making me able-bodied to be able to comprehend better than what I ever have. I'm smarter than probably your science or social studies teacher. That's not by me. This is not of me. It's all of the Lord. Solomon said it best in Wisdom of Solomon 9:6. Without thy wisdom, we are regarded as nothing. Right? So Lord willing, this is edifying. Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 15, all the way down. We're in that fourth beast, man. That little horn, which is of Rome. Let somebody tell you about a fifth kingdom. It was not prophesied of a fifth beast. It's prophesied of 4 beasts in a little horn that's in that fourth beast. That little horn did not come in ancient Rome. It came in the rebirth of Rome. Hold on. Let me just get this and close. This is Revelations 13. Revelations 13, and I want to go to verse 3. It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast, right? And it was wounded, right? So let me show you something. When you go into Revelations, the 20th chapter, verse 1, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the keys of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. You go to Revelations 1:18. Who is that angel? It's Yahushai, because he's the one with the keys to the bottomless pit, right? Or which we could say, Revelations 1:18 it says, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death. Right? So let's look up the word for key for Revelations 1. And we'll look up the key for Revelations 20. So Revelations 1:18. And it means key, it means power or authority. but I'll just get it, you know, for edification's sake. So when you go into the interlinear, the concordance of the word key, G2807, kalais.
Strong's G2807, Kleis.
So kalais. So key. Since the keeper of the keys has the power to open and to shut, a metaphor in the New Testament to denote power and authority of various kinds. So let's go to Revelations 20. And since this is the Greek, it most likely is the same meaning. Lord willing, let's see. Yes, it is. Since the keeper of the keys has the power to open and shut, metaphor in the New Testament to note power and authority of various kind. Right? The Strong's definition as shutting a lock. It's another verse, but I don't want to go too crazy, too deep, right? So again, Yahushai, that was in Revelation 20, that's Yahushai. So again, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, right? And that's the bottomless pit is talking about Europe. When you go into the word pit, you got to go to 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter. Let's get it real quick. 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter. Verse 20. Salaki. That one, I believe that's probably saying it in the GNT. We want KJV. So the 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, in verse 24, in the KJV, it says, and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily. So lands is considered a pit. So when it says the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, that bottomless pit is talking about Europe. It's bottomless because it's not fruitful, right? It's not fruitful.
Strong's G12, Abusas.
Abyssos, bottomless, unbounded, the abyss. It says, in the lower parts of the earth used as common receptacle of the dead, especially as the bound of demons. Depthless, right? So really it is unbounded. Yeah, caveman activities, right? When you look up the word unbounded, having or appearing to have no limits. I mean, no limits, right? But really, the bottom, when you go into Europe, is an unfruitful land. Verse 2, it says, and he laid open on the dragon, going back to Revelations 20. The dragon was the symbol of Rome. Just like when you see in Daniel 7, it talks about 4 beasts. It's not a literal beast. Beast in Ecclesiastes is talking about men. But you go into the word beast, political power, a superpower, a king, or a kingdom. So this dragon is talking about Rome. But then you go back to Revelations 12, it said red dragon. So when it was really mentioned a dragon, it's talking about Rome and who was ruling Rome that afflicted Israel, the Israelites, Edomites, right? So he laid hold on the dragon, the Edomites, that old serpent, the same serpent that beguiled Eve, that was Esau, right? Then later on, that was Cain, because everything is getting reincarnated through the spirit. Cain. And what happened? He got cursed with the leprosy. Then eventually a nation came out as lepers, which is Esau, the fulfillment of Cain. That's that old serpent, the one that beguiled Eve. which is the devil, a manipulator, a liar, and a deceiver, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, right? And that's them going into the caves. That's where they get the name Caucasian. Caucasus Mountain, that's where they get their name from, Caucasian. This is where the mindset of changing the names on the earth, this is how we couldn't identify. Because in the time of the apostles, when you read in the New Testament, it was really about teaching the good news. In that time, it wasn't really about getting on the heathen as we do now. Even if it was men teaching and prophesying in those times, those things, but it was really about being the light to the Gentiles and teaching to the dispersed, the Israelites that are scattered abroad, right? But we're in the time where we're teaching everything, where we have to shake the hand. What is it? Ezekiel 35, prophesy to Mount Seir. You're not prophesying to the place, you prophesying to the people of the place, which is Esau, right? Verse 3, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, into Europe, right? Because where was they ruling? They were ruling in Rome, Italy, Sicily, Greece. All of that is damn near the Japhets area, right? And that's all Europe. So they got pushed in the Caucasus Mountains, right? In the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So that's where we get the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages, where Jake was in prosperity, Europe, Ireland. We was making moves, making plays. It was just all by Yahweh Shem Shai, but we just did the same thing we did in Black Wall Street. We started getting wealth. We started making a name for ourselves, but we wasn't connected or abiding in Yahweh Shem Shai. When Rome fell and we fled to the mountains from that flood, that goes with 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3, the falling away. The teaching wasn't bountiful within the children of Israel. You know, still some people knew who they was. You had the Moors, you know, but of course we kept drifting away, you know. And then it said he must be loosed a little while. That really started when Esau started to migrate, start thinking for themselves, try to. And then that's when that Pope situation started to happen. And then eventually it made its way to being Alexander the Sixth. Alexander the Sixth, the sixth Pope. Then his son, Caesar Borgia, a man that killed his brother, a lover of his sister, and a damn sweet tooth bandit like Alexander the Freak. You know, he laid with Leonardo da Vinci. And, you know, some would say, too, that he even was having a thing with Michelangelo, right? But the father had a contest between the sons, between Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, because back then it was about painters. Painters was very expensive back then, and people wanted portraits of themselves. That's why when you look in the old England, France, they all was about statues and pictures and stuff, like Mona Lisa. That was why you think those pictures is famous, because back in the ancient world, pictures, portraits, statues of people were very popular. And Leonardo da Vinci won that contest. Caesar Borgia was dead, and he made the most famous picture of Caesar Borgia in The Father, which is in Wisdom of Solomon, the 4th chapter. Sirach was prophesying through the spirit with that one, where Caesar Borgia picture was, you know, worshiped as a god, but he was a dead man, right? So we're in a system, right? A system that was really thought and structured in a structure to manipulate and deceive the masses of Israel and try to target the elect. But when we go in the scriptures, the elect cannot be tampered. The elect can only be builded up. You cannot tamper with the elect. This is why the spirits on the left-hand sides is not only working with Esau, they're even working with 2/3 nigga Jake. Either a female, men that's trying to bump up against this truth. That's how you know. Soon as the elect men started rising, standing on their feet, teaching his word, you became a mother-sucking problem in this world. You got the GMS in Australia, in London, in the UK, Yo, and we brothers, the apostles didn't even touch over there. It's because the Lord is using this technology, because knowledge increased, where they're able to get this word wherever they at. You know, some of you brothers should be looking at the statics, the statistics, or the stats on your YouTube, and see where you mostly viewed at. I'm mostly viewed in Japan. I don't know nobody in Japan, but it says majority of people from Japan watch me. The Lord is making this word go out because the elect is the key. The elect is the key. In these nations, and even your own people of your nation, they want you to fail because they have a spirit in them. That's how precious the elect is. You getting attacked on all angles because those spirits know if you get it, it's over. Even though the spirits of the Lord is in righteousness, because in First Kings, they got to do what the Lord tell them to do. When you look at the spirit, when Yahushua came down, those angels was told in the spirit to deceive or to tempt Yahushua. Just imagine that conversation in the spirit where, hey, look, when my son go down there, you're gonna have to tempt him the best that you can, man. I need you to do this. Actually, you tell me what you gonna do. First Kings 22. How you gonna tempt my son Yahushua when he get down there? You know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Hey, what you gonna do? Oh, I like his answer better. This was a whole conversation. The Lord is playing chess, you know? So again, we in the toes. This thing is really almost over, man. Right? You know, like when you gotta use the bathroom, you could feel it on the tip of your fingers. This is almost over, you know? It's almost over. We just gotta continue to keep pushing, keep having faith, always cleave to these videos, right? It's other brothers that's teaching in a marvelous way, you know, in different levels. And I'm not speaking about all these other camps. I can give two fickle cells. If they're not teaching 100% truth and in the name of the Heavenly Father and the Son through the Ruach HaKodesh, they not being spoken from my mouth. But Great Millstone and the affiliates, like-minded men, which is truly the affiliates of Great Millstone, bringing forth 100% truth in the name of Yahweh, Hashem Shai, Hashem Ruach, it's food out here, man. So if you need to eat, get on that YouTube, and I'm telling you, Ponderosa Old Country Buffet is on there. You need to be getting yourself connected to hearing this word, motivation, exhortations, chapter lessons, the gospel, lessons on the apostles, prophecies, parables, dark sayings, even the law. You want to get as much as you can. What did he tell Ezekiel? Eat the roll. You know, you should be eating this roll. It's not assorted with all different type of meats, but it got everything that you can eat on it. Eat the roll, right? So we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, the water Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, for allowing us to be edified, the water for allowing me to bring forth this lesson through your will. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit, Lord willing, that you all can continue to endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwat Yam, believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing, you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. With that, shalom, above all. Shalom to the brother too. Right? Shalom. Yahweh Shai Brakatah.